Welcome to tonight's live stream, folks. Tonight is our live stream about The Sword in the Stone, 1963, classic Walt Disney animated flick. Yeah, check it out. Quite impressive artwork back in the day.
Yes, I really enjoy the art of this movie, the art style. The colors are vibrant, um, and just the way that the intro and the outro they use a little bit of almost like a medieval kind of art inspirations, but it's also very 60s, like late 50s, early 60s as well.
Yeah, I can tell. Yeah, set in an created as an alternate version for King Arthur and how he becomes King of England. Starts off where it was all where the people of England were living in a oh evening Stepenzo.
What's up?
Glad you can make it. And welcome Fourth 1000. Thanks for joining in. I also saw you hang out with folks on panel weeks ago. But hey, thanks for stopping by. Yeah. This movie that was released in 1963 was set in a time before King Arthur became King of England in a more fictional manner.
Right.
Yeah,
King
the-
Arthur wasn't real, right?
They're excuse me. They actually think that there was a person that his legend is based on from the
Okay.
5th and 6th century AD, uh, as a remnant of the
But he's like
Roman.
an amalgamation of a bunch of people,
Right.
right?
He
Okay.
could be one person or an amalgamation of a different couple of different leaders uh,
yep,
from the ancient times. But this is like the 5th or 6th century AD.
yep,
Sweet.
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah, the sword was created and cast inside an anvil bestowed upon a pedestal outside the churchyard, saying whoever kind of like it's kind of like Excalibur as well
Yep.
as Thor's hammer of who would be worthy enough to lift it out of the ground. Yeah,
Right.
Right.
Yeah, it has the inscription that whoever's can pull the sword from the stone is worthy and is would be the heir to the kingdom of England. Um,
yep,
yeah.
yeah. It's also an inspiring tale.
Yes. And odd, or not oddly enough, but they have an actual it's like an event at Disneyland and Walt Disney World where you can pull little kids can come up and try to pull the sword out of the stone, and it has like a mechanism inside so like adults can't pull it out, and they just hit a button to let it go, and then the kids can pull it out if they want.
Yeah, kind of like this.
Yeah, exactly, right there. Yeah, I remember
Yep.
I've been to a couple different. I've been to Tokyo Disneyland a bunch of times. They had it there, and they had it in the one in California, but I have not been to the Florida one.
Mm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. This. Yeah. Yeah. It's quite a reimagining. And now most of the film is centered around the wizard known as Merlin, along with the squad, along with the ward. I mean, after the intro, we come. Merlin was stuck in the forest, putting up with the dark times in England. He was outside getting water out of a well that was making it difficult for him to deal with, and then he had to walk over to the. And then he had his. Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah,
He,
he's complaining when he's pulling the water up. He's complaining about not having electricity or plumbing because he's a
Yeah.
wizard. He's gone to the future, and he can see things into the future. He knows things about the future, and he's visited the future, so he knows that there's eventually going to be electricity and water. But he keeps talking about different inventions and things, and at one point he looks at his watch and he's like, I wish I could read the London Times, but he's like, that won't be invented for another, or won't start printing for another 1,200 years. So it's pretty.
Yeah, he apparently lives going backwards in time.
Oh,
Apparently
that's right.
Archim-
Part of his legend is yes, he goes backwards in time. So.
And Archimedes is like going forwards in time.
Ah,
He has a friendly owl.
yeah. Hi, Emily.
Hi, everybody. Thank
Yeah,
you for having me.
it's
Hey, Emily, how you doing?
Archimedes.
Where are you?
Good, good.
Yeah, Archimedes.
They have
I
a
also heard
Funko
that
Pop.
was it Merlin is designed after Walt Disney. He's got this. He's got the same nose.
Yep.
Ah, yes.
Cantankerous and argumentative, but also youthful and imaginative.
And he is a little forgetful because he's got so much going on in his head.
He's got like ADHD, gremlin
Yeah.
brain.
Right. And he doesn't have a wand per se. He has like a walking stick, but it kind of a wand, but it's not a staff.
Yeah.
In a traditional sense, like, usually a wizard either has a wand or a staff. But
Yep.
he has kind of like a little walking stick thing that's in between. And he's not afraid to hit people with it. So let me ask you this: when is the first time that everybody saw this movie?
I don't know.
I think-
just a little kid, little baby boy.
I think it was around the late '90s or mid '90s.
Mhm.
Yeah, that I saw this film.
Yeah, this one was always it's always been my favorite of the '60s Disney era.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah, I
was-
remember seeing it as a kid, probably in the late 70s, early 80s. Well, it would have had to be on VHS.
Right.
Or maybe
My
it was on
dad-
TV. It might have been on TV.
I think my dad
you
had it like recorded on a blank
Yeah.
VHS tape from when we
Now,
got,
now that I
like-
think about it, I remember seeing it the same time that I saw Escape to Witch Mountain, which was in like 1978 or 79. Because they used to have every Sunday Disney would come on, and they would have all kinds of like Huck Finn and stories and whatever. Because Tinkerbell would come out and do the wand, and then the castle would disappear and all that. So
Yeah.
when have you've seen it? When did you see it, Emily?
I've seen parts of it, but I haven't seen the entirety of it. But I watched it recently before the live stream today to know what
okay.
it is.
Right. So you knew about it pretty much, but just hadn't maybe seen the whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, I was
Yep.
pretty disappointed to find out that the versions online are cropped, and also they have this terrible like AI remastering going on.
I
Or at least
really
the
had to
version I
search.
watched.
Right. I had to search to find what I found was something on YouTube that was chopped up into 2 or 3 minute episodes,
Oh,
like
there
the
you
whole
go.
thing. But it ran smooth if you ran them as a playlist. And it just ran them back to back. It was fine. And it's pretty much how I remember it. It didn't look like it had anything cut out or altered or anything like that.
Hmm.
Yeah. But that's been a problem with some of the newer Disney stuff if you watch on Disney Plus. So I'm pretty old, so I can remember like watching on
Yeah.
TV, let's say, or whatever. And I see stuff and I'm like, I don't remember it.
Right.
I thought it did this or they said
When you
this
watch
thing.
The Simpsons on Disney Plus, they have it filling the screen. It should have black bars on the sides, because it's 4:3. But they crop it. They like fill the screen and crop top and the bottom a little bit. It's
Yeah,
stupid.
it should be in a letterbox, I think. And because it used to, all this stuff was either for the big screen or it was on a CRT, like old school glass tube TV. And the dimensions for those were not wide like monitors are or TVs.
Yeah, this
are
movie's
now.
supposed to be widescreen.
Yeah. You saw it in the theater. It was a theatrical release.
I didn't, but I was like,
No, I meant that's what it was meant to be shown
Right.
as, a theatrical release.
yeah,
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, I don't know. I like how this movie's just like a bunch of little vignettes. It's like a handful of little stories. It is very kind of all over the place.
And the other thing I like about it is I don't know, maybe I'm a weirdo kid, but when I was a kid, I always like imagined what if I was a bird or a fish, or you know what I mean? Wouldn't it be cool to fly around and do stuff like that? And you know,
What's funny
especially
is this is actually pretty. It's a lot more faithful to the source material than most people think.
Mhm. Right.
Turning into animals and stuff. But I mean, yeah, that's kind of the thing. I was watching it this last time, realizing it's all about like education,
Yeah.
how to teach kids.
Mhm.
It's pretty cool.
Right.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Hmm. Yeah.
I like also it has the hero story where in a lot of like Cinderella and things like that, they're a servant, but they're bound for more greatness. They're usually an orphan who's adopted by somebody else, in which case they call him Wart instead of, because he's the ward of the lord of the castle, right? The ward means he's being taken care of by him because his parents are dead or whatever, but they call him Wart because it's like a nickname or whatever, kind of a derogatory one.
Yeah.
Right.
Because the lord of the castle's son is, you know, obviously going to take precedence over him, but
Yep.
he's still supposed to be training him, and doing the training he needs to be stern, and he doesn't believe in like magic and learning, and you know what Wart needs to be learning is how to carry swords and
Yeah.
grow up and do these things. 'Cause in the intro, there Merlin and Archimedes, the owl, are in his little cottage in the woods, and he's like, "Oh, I'm getting ready to. Somebody's going to show up in half an hour. Who it is, I'm not
Yeah.
sure, but I know someone's coming, and it's important." And then when he sees him, he's like, "Oh, look, it's a 11 or 12-year-old boy." So, which goes back to that's old Disney.
Yeah.
The hero was a kid. They, just like Cinderella.
I know a lot of people had problems with Arthur being American, and he's voiced by like 3 different people. I never noticed that until watching it just now. It's pretty glaringly obvious. It's like his voice changes.
I don't think very many people have a British accent in any of the characters. Maybe some of the nobles and whatnot towards the end, but
there's also the famous whoa. Like they say that, they play that clip, they play that audio bit like 5 times in this movie.
Yeah.
It's funny. Yeah, I don't know. I noticed that the foster dad, because I mean, back in those days, you would only learn like the liberal science arts like reading and math and all that stuff if you were of noble descent or you had money, or you were trying to become a scribe.
There were so many nobles that didn't know how to read and write because it was a very rarely used skill for the most part.
Right.
And you hired somebody to do it for you if you were a knight. What you needed to do was learn how to ride a horse, wear armor, and use a sword from the time you could lift one, so you would be ready to be a warrior knight by the time you were of age, 16.
Yeah, so it was basically up until the Industrial Revolution that you were like, we didn't think that people needed to really learn all that stuff because, you would like his foster dad is trying to show that he needs to learn like his trades, his skills, the basic stuff, and you would learn that by shadowing your dad at work or whatever in the fields or in the mines or whatever,
or an apprenticeship of some kind, right? Which is kind of
Merlin, he wants him to learn all this other stuff, and so does Archimedes. But Merlin has this approach where we're going to teach you all the fun stuff and show you all the cool like life lessons from that, and then
hello, Jake.
Hello.
What's up? Yeah, and then I guess Archimedes is like, we're going to teach you from the ground up, like how to read and how to do all that stuff.
Because he was like, read this pile of books. And he's like, but I don't know how to read. And he's like, what? He's like, I guess we're going to have to start from the basics.
From the
and
bottom
he teaches
up.
him how to write. And he's like, Merlin's like, look, he's writing. And he's like, what? This is chicken scratch, which I haven't heard that term used in a long time, but my great-grandmother used to use it all the time.
I say chicken scratch all the time. That's what
I think he says hen scratch even.
Hen scratch, yes. That's what
and
that's what
damn,
my
guys.
grandmother used to say. was
Stupenzo. I've never even talked to Stupenzo.
How's it going, Jake? Legend.
What's up, buddy? I know.
It's good to see you.
Sorry, guys.
Hear you.
I was detained, but I'm glad I could be here with you.
Thank you for
Yeah.
coming.
Of course, man.
awesome.
Yeah.
I also like this movie because the music's really catchy and also it's very funny.
Yeah.
It's got some great timing, and then the big end battle between the two wizard, the witch and the wizard, is like some of the best animation ever.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite things about the movie. And he sings some songs and stuff, and then does some rhymes and whatever. And the magic that he does is pretty cool. He says Alakazam a lot.
I like how it's not a full musical. You know,
No. It's just like
Right.
a little rhymey kind of.
it's one of those.
Just a
Disney
few little
movies.
songs sprinkled in there. I love with like the dishwashing scene, all the magic. I still have that like seared into my memory all these years later. I still remember the songs. I probably haven't seen this movie in like 25 years. I still remember them.
Well,
I
what's funny is
remember when
Merlin's magic in this movie is pretty limited to just turning people into animals and doing the dishes.
Yeah, he's not
Yeah.
like fireballing anyone or anything.
No.
But I remember being a kid watching it and was like, wow, it'd be really cool if you could actually just have magic wash your dishes like that.
Oh no.
Or do whatever, mow the lawn for you.
Hmm.
Also, this is the first Disney movie that's directed by one person, or Disney animated movie.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Wow.
Okay.
and I guess this is the last Disney animated movie with Walt Disney's direct involvement because he died in the middle of Jungle Book.
He died
Oh.
in 1966, I believe.
Right.
Yeah.
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 Because he was a lifelong heavy smoker. So he died. I
Wow.
believe he died of lung cancer.
You know what's a fun conspiracy theory I heard, and I've talked about it with Leon, but the idea that Walt Disney purposely made a movie called Frozen, so that way when you search Walt Disney Frozen, you would just get like this movie, and you won't get like information about how he's secretly cryogenically frozen somewhere.
They're throwing us off the trail.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
but why would it have taken so long to make that movie then? Because he's supposedly been frozen, and people have been rumoring about it since I was a kid.
Well,
like,
yeah, but
I-
if you point is if you memory hole it for 5 to 10 years, like people just kind of forget about it.
Well, maybe
you
it
know,
was
20
because of
years.
the internet or
Yeah,
whatever.
the internet is like the
Yeah.
new search engine optimization. Take advantage of Google.
Because when I was a
Frozen.
kid, the memes and the search engine stuff was just kids you heard at school. Like the kid Mikey from the Life cereal thing, he ate Pop Rocks and drank a soda and his stomach exploded.
Died.
That was everywhere.
Yeah,
When
that's
I was
classic.
Marilyn Manson was the kid in the Wonder Years, and what else? There's a bunch of stupid stuff.
I was
He
already-
he had his rib removed so that he could enjoy
yeah.
himself.
Emaciate.
yeah,
Yeah.
but that Mikey one goes way back.
Richard
Yeah.
Gere's my favorite because it's like not true, and yet nobody cares. Everyone's
I
still
remember
jokes
hearing
Hey,
about
and like
the
it's like
hamster.
so cruel, man. Like what the? That's a hell of a thing to make up about a guy.
And I heard that in like 1983 or 84.
Yeah.
The rumor.
Like what the hell did Richard Gere ever do to anybody?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Hollywood, baby.
Oh,
Yeah, that's Hollywood.
he does magic on the owner of the Lord of the Castle and makes it snow. He
Right.
calls it a wizard blizzard.
Disappears in front of him.
yeah,
and
it disappears.
Oh yeah, Wizard
Kind of
Blizzard.
just basically
Yeah.
says like, "Look, I'm going to be this
There it
kid's
is,
tutor,
yeah.
whether you like it or not."
Right, like this is happening.
Because he tells him that he wants to teach him.
Now,
Yeah.
yeah. I heard an interesting
The
fan theory
Wizard
where it's like
Blizzard.
because Merlin is like a temporal agent. There's an idea that either he basically either knows that Arthur is the one true king and he actually put the sword in the stone, like using what he called what is magic and made it seem like divine intervention. And it's either he knows that Arthur is the one true king and he like backwards engineers it, or the other theory is that he put it there knowing that Arthur would eventually pull it out, but he doesn't realize that it's Arthur. And I don't know. There's just like
Oh,
it's kind of like
That's kinda
Terminator, where it's like a
quasi bootstrap paradox kind of thing.
yeah, it's like one of these cyclical time paradox theories about
Yeah.
it.
I like that.
Well, Archimedes tells him, he's like, I know everything. And Archimedes like, no, you don't know everything. Like he knew that somebody was going to appear in 30 minutes at their cottage because he had the chair where it needed to be because he knew they were going to fall through the ceiling. He just didn't know who was going to be there.
Right.
He didn't realize it was going to be a 12-year-old little kid, because it could have been anybody, but he knew that they were important. Also, I think if he would have really foreseen, I think he knew that he was going to do something to become king in the future, which is why he wanted to school him and do all this stuff.
Right.
But he didn't know when it was going to happen necessarily or how.
Yeah, because that's the thing about what I was talking about, the Industrial Revolution. Like, it wasn't until people were like voting for their rulers that people were like, well, I guess they should be educated in what a good ruler is, you know?
Yeah.
So this is why we all got to start having like universal education for everybody. Whereas, like I said, back then, all you needed to do was like learn whatever your parents' trade was, and
Yep.
Right.
that up.
Yeah. If you were if you were part of the aristocracy, you were expected to learn to read and write and do all that.
Right.
Not as time went on, but if you were a king, like if you look at history, there are so many rulers that did not know how to read and write because they had people for that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, like, if you're a CEO of a company, you don't work in the mailroom. You don't do all this other stuff because you have people doing that for you. So it's
Right.
kind of the same concept.
Usually someone like reared in the church.
Yeah,
Yes.
that too.
Right. Because you needed to learn how to read and write so you could read the scriptures. And being a scribe was a really, like, there were lots of them because it was the only people that they didn't have like typeface or anything. So the only way to record anything or make copies was to have somebody write it down. So being a scribe, there was a big industry of that in certain places. And if you needed something written down, you would go pay somebody to do it. But the invention of the printing press kind of killed that industry. Because if you wanted a book, the only other way to do it was to get a bunch of monks to copy it for you. That's why books were so expensive.
Yep, that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This castle is all like the one tower he has him stay in
It's
is
a guest room.
being held up by
Yeah.
by
Yep.
Disney magic.
Like, it's a little drafty, but it's the best part. It's the best room in the house in the blistering summer.
Yeah.
Smash
Yeah.
into it like pouring rain.
Got a great view. Got a good eastern exposure.
When they draw up the drawbridge and the whole tower like shakes and stuff. God.
I know. I
Yeah.
was surprised that throughout the whole movie it never collapsed. And he had all kinds of stuff in there too, like books and giant cauldrons and
Yeah, if I was Merlin, I would just pack my shit and gone to a barn or the stable or something.
Yeah, that too.
but you
Back to
know,
Bermuda.
I'm not gonna get building 7 in here, right?
Yep. And
Fairy dust can't melt steel beams.
yeah, and he's got a lot of what? Yeah, his tower was heavily waterlogged when it started to rain. That he had to cast a spell to create a bunch of umbrellas just to block the water out. Yeah,
Yeah, I love
imagine
how
living
he
like
uses his
somewhere like him,
beard.
even though he has magic. His powers are limited, and he's not invincible.
Yeah, he uses his beard as like both as a broom and a mop throughout this movie. And what else? It's just his beard. I don't know. His beard seems more trouble than it's worth, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and as for Sir Ector, man, he is totally a big guy with a lot of fat in his belly. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Merlin
it's-
knows how to. Yeah,
It's like
Merlin
Chilwell
knows.
said, like he's kind of a traditionalist when it comes to educating Wart or Arthur. Like you do it the old-fashioned way. This is how it's been done, and he's strict. And if you mess up, you get reprimanded, and you learn from experience, and you learn how.
He
to
wants to be
joust or whatever.
a squire.
Right.
right, and that's basically your apprenticeship to be a knight, is you are
Yeah.
a squire. You learn the ropes of the whole thing by caring for the armor, caring for the horse, bringing the sword, all that stuff. And then once you become of age and later on and had enough money and were of the right birth class, then you could go through doing it. But if you didn't have enough money, I remember reading that there were people that weren't knighted until they were in their 40s because they couldn't afford it.
Yeah,
So that unless you got like a battlefield knight, like went to a war and they needed knights, and they would just knight everybody right there.
Yeah.
A field commission.
Yeah, field commission. But also the interesting thing about a knighthood is it was not hereditarily passed on.
Yeah,
So if
that
you were
too.
a knight and you had a child, it did not automatically make your child a knight or a royal. Now you had status and lands and things, but unless you were invested later with like a dukedom or a count or whatever,
Uh-huh.
and yeah, those were hereditary, but not just being a knight, especially if you were knighted on the battlefield.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, Kay was one of the guys that were. Kay was the one that the director wanted to get Lob. Well, he wanted to get his son Kay to become a king. When he was informed by one of his friends that there was a tournament being hosted on New Year's Day, that whoever wins gets become king of England.
Right. Which in the story is somebody would have been filling in that role, or there would have been civil war going on. And even when there was civil war, somebody would have been sitting on the throne already claiming it. So, but it's a kid's story, so they're going to
Yeah.
have a tournament, and whoever wins will be crowned king, which kind of is kind of weird, like because just because they can joust well or whatever doesn't mean they're going to be a good king. But if you need a king or somebody ruling, a king or a queen or something ruling to keep the country stable and make decisions and all that kind of stuff. But
I think it
yeah,
probably makes you look like a vulnerable target
Yeah, that
to
too.
to another nation.
yeah, if you don't have exactly, somebody can just roll up in there. But by this point in England's history, somebody would have had a claim. But
Yeah, that too.
yeah,
I don't think Kay had it in him, guys. He's kind of a douche.
yeah, he is. He's not very smart.
I'm remembering there's like an extended sequence of Merlin and what's even an art like their fish, right? Is that in this movie?
It's in, yeah. So that's one of the first things he does is he wants to show him the world. So he's like, hey, turn him into a fish. And they turn into a fish, and then he has to learn how to swim because he's not a fish. He doesn't like
That's
innately know
it.
how to do it. Right. And they swim through some reeds, and then they run into a frog, and they run into another fish. And
Yeah,
then
I'd seen this like a million times because it was in like one of them Disney compilations of little like
yeah,
musical numbers.
yep. So while they're down there, he's explaining the world to them and how you got to use your brain instead of brawn and all this.
Yeah.
And they have fun, like swimming around. And then they run into a pike, which is like a kind of fish. It's got a real long,
Yeah,
snout.
predator.
Yeah, there it is.
Real fish.
And
there is a go, and that's what makes the world go round.
and then
Yeah,
the pike
that's what makes the world
chases
go
him,
round.
and he has to use his brains. Like he goes through a chain, and its snout gets stuck in there. And then
12
yeah,
years before Jaws, by the way.
right. He's used like an old arrow, but
Prescient.
Merlin
Yep.
gets trapped in an old helmet. Like the visor flops down, and he's stuck in there, and he can't remember the words to turn back into a human. And so Archimedes has to fly down and try to help him by like holding the fish's legs or mouth open with his legs, while the little, and also if he's out of the water, he's gonna suffocate or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. But before the pike, they ran into a catfish. I mean, look at the kills.
Oh yeah. And this was more like just like oh sorry my good sir, and the catfish was like harumph, Although I was thinking that this was probably going to try to eat him, but it didn't. It was just like, hey, get out of my way.
Yeah.
I'm getting core memoried right now. This is crazy.
Yeah.
So he does, there's a big sequence where they're like, yeah, there's the helmet that Merlin gets stuck in. And then he comes out of the water with the helmet on because he turned into a human. And then he turns the kid back into a human from a fish. But the lesson is to use your brain over brawn and outthink your enemy.
Yep.
So that's the whole point of the lesson. So he took him down there because when he's like, the water's got like its own jungle, it's got its own lions and everything. That's when the fish shows up, and he's like, "Well, aren't you going to help me?" And he's like, "No, you got to use your brain." So he puts him in danger. Yeah, there was a picture of
A baptism by fire underwater.
yes, yep. And look, you can tell just by looking at the fish that it's like a grumpy fish that wants to eat you because of its eyes and everything.
Yeah.
And it's protruding teeth from the bottom.
Underbites.
Yeah, the underbite. Yeah, and an aggressive underbite is usually a sign of like being not good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. A shallow-minded fish. Real shallow.
Yeah. There, that picture on the right there. If you scroll down, yeah, that's the it, oh, I don't know.
That eyesight with that fish was crazy. Just
Yep.
looking at that
Yeah.
one fish.
Yeah, so what he did was he was trying to hide from him, and the fish went away, and he thought, "Oh, I lost him," and he turned back around to go, and that's when the fish comes around the pole with the big eye, and he's like, "Ah."
Yeah, a creepy-looking big eye.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that they do that in a lot of movies where you think they're gone, and then you turn around and they've gone around the other side. The cave troll does that in Lord of the Rings when Frodo is like trying to get away from her or whatever. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's kind of like a known kind of gag, if you will.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. And now for the kitchen. Right after coming back, he was told to start cleaning dishes up in the kitchen before Merlin showed up to help him buy it to help him get his way out.
Yeah, because he was late because he was out being a fish. The his trainer was like, "That's 4 demerits, 3 for being late, and then 1 for telling me that you were a fish." Because I've heard some fish stories in the past. Like people went fishing and got this big fish, and it was this big kind of story.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. So he made him do more dishes. Although if it's only 2 people in the castle plus the lady in there, I don't know who's making this big mess.
Yeah, where the hell did all these dishes come from? That's an excellent question.
It's part of the story, Who knows? Maybe that'd be a banquet. But he's
Yeah.
got the whole, Mickey Mouse magic thing, doing the dishes and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's almost just like what we saw from Fantasia.
Yes, exactly, from Fantasia. Yep, same kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Remembering there's a pretty bitchin' like piano solo that goes over this dishwashing.
Yep.
Yeah, that
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Disney movies of this era, they had this like in the beginning and ending, like similar sequences of like flipping through an old timey storybook.
Yeah.
like,
Yep.
The more of these old Disney movies that we've done, the more I wasn't really like aware of how often they were doing that. But like they do it at the beginning of Lady and the Tramp, and they do it at the beginning of this movie, of course. Cinderella.
Snow White, Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah, Sleeping
Yeah.
Beauty. That was another
Yeah.
one. That's another one where I really love the art style in that movie.
Same.
Yep. It's also, it's got. I think it has the best Prince in it too.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, Prince Philip is awesome in that movie.
Yeah, he actually knows how to fight. He's brave. He fights a dragon. I mean, it's Maleficent, but
Yeah, he's kind of way out in front as far as princes go.
right. Yep.
Yeah, while letting the dishes do all the work cleaning for him, they were out doing squirrel
Right.
training, and along the way, they run into such a cute and cheeky looking girl squirrel. Yeah.
And so
Charming.
they turn themselves into squirrels so they can like, learn about, using, think jumping and angles and stuff like that. And they run into this girl squirrel and she actually likes him.
Yeah.
And he's asking him like, wait, why does she like me and all this? And he's like, well, this is, love. And because he was going to teach him about gravity. And he's like, what's gravity? And he's like, if you fall, you drop stuff, whatever. And so he has to run away from her because she's, going after him the whole time. And he's making fun of him. He's like, young love. And, now you're in trouble, this and that. And then this older one goes after the Merlin. That looks like a squirrel. And he's like, madam, please. He's like, I'm an old man in real life, not a squirrel. And same with Wart is telling the girl squirrel, hey, I'm a boy,
Yeah.
Work got me too, guys. I forgot all about that.
Yeah. Yep. But yeah, so in both instances, it's the women that are after the men.
Yep.
In this, yeah.
That makes it funny.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's like, so at first they meet him on the branch and he thinks she needs to go around. So they go back to a branch that branches off, but she just follows him onto it. And then he pushes her away and then she puts his hands back on her nose. So it's pretty cute. And then the other squirrel shows up and starts, and you can tell she's older because she's bigger. So she starts going after the Merlin squirrel. Also, what's interesting is he's a little browner, but Merlin's gray. And in real life, there are different kinds of squirrels. There's red and gray squirrels.
Mm-hmm.
So if I got turned into a squirrel, I'd have a receding hairline.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think that.
Is that how squirrel magic works?
Yeah. So they go through this thing where they're being pursued, and then eventually Merlin turns into a human, and it scares away the older female one, and then he turns Wart back into a human, and then it causes the girl squirrel to go run up into her little hidey hole and cry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here he's like, whoa, wait a second, because he was making fun of him about being chased, right? And now it's happening to him. He's like, wait a second, this isn't cool.
Well, I'm pretty sure when Merlin returns to being a person, the old squirrel here, she is like outraged. Like, how could you deceive me?
She's scared. Yeah, she goes, and then runs away.
Okay.
Yeah. But and then the other one runs away from Wart, but runs up into like her room in the tree and cries.
Heartbroken.
Yep, heartbroken. Yeah, and
Yeah,
that's what
heartbroken.
he says, yeah, love is a powerful thing. And he's like, more powerful than gravity? And he's like, in some ways, yes. So it's a good it's like a good little lesson to be taught, especially if you're a little kid watching this.
Yeah, that too.
I learned nothing.
Yeah.
But I remember it all, so interesting.
Yeah. So this was a good sequence.
Yep. Yeah. And as soon as they get back, the kitchen was bewitched.
Oh, right. Then the kitchen lady comes out and is like, the kitchen it's got witchcraft going on in it. And they run in there and they're like, oh, we got to stop it. So he gets his son and they try to fight the dishes.
Yeah, black magic of the worst
Yeah,
kind.
yep. And there's like frying pans and he breaks his sword on the frying pan. And
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, actor. Yeah, and yeah, yeah, This was hilarious.
Yep. Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, his sword is broken in that picture. And so what happens is Merlin comes back and like Alakazam and the whole thing falls, dispels the magic and everything kind of falls. He falls in the big bucket and
Yeah, that too.
and everything. Oh, but there was a point where he was fighting it, and he went and he got in the bucket, and he had the brushes brushing his face and his beard or his mustache, because it was still doing the magic of washing the dishes.
The
Yeah.
kid gets the mop wrapped around his face. and
Yeah,
his head
that's
getting dunked in
the other
bucket.
kid. Yeah, the other his son. I can't remember his name. Yeah, the mop wraps him around his head and starts dunking him in the bucket, and then mopping the floor with his head.
Yeah. Yeah, he broke some
Yeah,
dishes.
here we go. That's where he breaks it. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and Kane gets outwitted by a broom.
So, but it makes Sir Eckhart mad. So he tells Wirt that he's not going to London for the tournament anymore. He's going to stay there, and they're going to replace him with the other squire that you never really see. And so then he's stuck with a messed up lawn, and he punishes him with like 10 demerits or something. So he's got to like do dishes in there forever. Yeah, see here, everything's all messed up. His broom is broken. He's got to clean all this up, and everyone's mad at him.
That's like every dish in the Tri-County area.
Yeah.
Yeah, that too.
Yep.
Lots of dishes in the Tri-County area within a single room. Yeah, it's like a desolated ruin in there with all those dishes
Yeah,
laying around.
I miss old Disney films like this.
I do too.
Yeah.
That's just like a good still.
Mhm.
It has like just like smacks of nostalgia.
Probably the last good animated one I saw was probably the first Frozen, like where I thought it was decent. That's the last. I
Yeah,
mean, it had a lot of good ones in the '90s, like Mulan and Aladdin and Beauty and the Beast, and they had a lot.
I've never seen Frozen. I've seen Moana, like the first Moana, and I liked that okay.
It was all right. Yeah, the first Frozen is good. Not the
I'm
second.
not opposed
The
to
second
it.
one is hot garbage, but
yeah, I know.
the first one is good.
I know every word to the Snowman song thanks to my niece.
Yeah. But it has good music. It has good songs. It's like return to old Disney, and then the next one is just it's not good. And
Also, I like how this is the only Disney movie, or one of the few Disney movies with no sequels or remakes or live
Right, yep.
action adaptations
exactly.
True.
I'm just suggesting that
for now.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Eventually. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, learning the alphabet.
Right.
Yeah.
So Archimedes is what needs to teach him, and Archimedes and Merlin get in a fight about tutoring him, and so Merlin's like, "Fine, whatever. You go ahead and teach him." It's like, okay, so now
Yeah.
he's writing the ABCs, and
Yeah, the owl's funny.
he's teaching him cursive for one. Although those are cursive alphabets, but he's not writing in cursive because he's just doing the letters. If you do cursive, it'll actually all connect together.
Yeah, I do cursive a lot since I've done it since I've been doing cursive a lot since school.
Yeah, I learned in school too, and my grandmother used to write me letters all in cursive. So if I didn't know how to read it, I couldn't understand them.
I don't think they teach that anymore.
I know. I don't think a lot of people do either.
Yeah.
I never
Like,
really wrote with it.
Yeah.
I always wrote in print because I thought it was clearer. But if you're writing a lot, right, in the olden days, and you had like a quill pen you had to dip the ink, it was much more efficient writing than trying to do like regular hard letters and stuff. So it was easier to flow. And
Sure.
but it was the invention of like the ballpoint pen that got you away from it. Plus, you really couldn't use cursive for like formal communication, right? Like at a business or something.
Too stylized.
It was too easy to misconstrue, and your handwriting could be really sloppy. Whereas if you used
Sure.
like capital letters, right, and also with typing and whatever, that's why it fell out of favor especially now that everything is typed and screened. I mean, how many kids actually write something on a piece of paper now? You know what I
Who
mean?
knows?
So
Never.
yeah, that's
Usually,
yeah.
usually
I'm-
the kind that don't have anything technological like a phone or a laptop or a desktop of some sort would be able to write still. And welcome, Dragon Master.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
What's
Hi.
up, Dragon
Hi,
Master?
Dragon Master.
Yeah, I only just saw this, so my apologies for being late.
No problem. And
No.
welcome,
No worries,
King
man.
Style. Welcome, King Style.
Oh, King Style too. Hello.
Oh,
I,
he's having
I haven't some
trying to
sound
connect.
issues, yeah. But yeah, so he's teaching him how to read and write. And I mean, he's picked it up pretty good. If this is your first day of lessons, I remember when I was a kid trying to trace the letters in like kindergarten or whatever. Actually, it was preschool.
Yeah, not bad for
Yeah.
somebody trying out cursing for the first time. Or
Yeah,
cursive.
Yep.
I want to say like they taught us in the second grade. Does that sound reasonable?
cursive. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, but I was learning my ABCs when I was in preschool. I didn't learn cursive until second or third grade thereabouts.
Yeah.
I also remember the mats that we used to have to get out for our nap when I was in preschool. I hated taking naps. Now
Mm,
I was like, that should be implemented
no doubt, dude.
everywhere.
Yeah, implemented.
But when I was a kid, I hated it. There's
It was
those
all
little
about the nap.
yeah, those little blue mats with I don't think we had pillows or blankets or anything. We just laid on the mats.
Oh, dude, you'd have like that one day a month where you would like pour shaving cream all over the desks and you'd wash the desks, and it was always the best.
Oh no, I was in preschool in the 70s. We didn't know
Oh
about computers back
shit!
then.
I was like, I would have been in the 90s.
Yeah, no. We didn't do any of that. I think the teachers cleaned up after, but I just remember there was a lot of snot and drool because
I bet.
4-year-olds and stuff.
All right. Hi, King Style.
Hey man, what's going on?
Yeah, that's your
King Style.
Hello.
Hello.
yeah. We're right at the part where Archimedes was taking charge of the squire of the boy, teaching him how to be educated and stuff like that. Yeah.
Do you think it's the real Archimedes, like trapped in the body of an owl somehow by some Merlin magic?
I
Maybe.
think it's just his name.
Yeah. Kind of like how Doc Brown's dogs are named after famous scientists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Archimedes.
hands.
Yeah.
I remember seeing I can't remember what game I was playing, but it was like a MMO and it had orcs in it. Somebody called their orc Orchimedes.
Genius.
Archimedes. Oh my
Orchimedes.
God.
And I saw another one was Orcales. Like Hercules.
Hercules. Good.
Was this? Hey, voice protagonist.
Hey,
Yeah.
voice protagonist.
Hey.
Yeah. Yeah. Check. Yeah. Yeah. We're talking about the owl. He's voiced by the same guy that did the voice of Rabbit from the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh.
Mm. Is he
Oh yeah.
is that the same actor that did the was there another one where it was an owl, but they were like
Oh,
They were
Hal
using
Smith.
they were
No.
using their like S's or something, or like suckering succotash. They would
Oh,
had like a whistling sound whenever they talked.
Oh, you're thinking of the Tootsie Pop commercial by chance?
Well, no,
oh,
it's kind of like that, but it was a Disney thing.
that.
Oh, I'm sure,
Maybe it
man.
was Song of the South or something.
We should do that one, Sergeant.
Yeah, good luck finding it.
Yeah, I might do that.
I've only seen a review of that movie a while ago.
Oh, Song of the
It's
South.
good.
Yeah.
I remember seeing it like a long time ago on like Disney Sunday, like in the 70s. And I remember where did I see it at again? It was like on TV or something in like the 90s, but I haven't seen it since. I think
Oh.
even in the 90s, they were like, yeah, we better.
Yeah.
hold this one.
It was pretty spicy even by 90s
Yeah,
standards.
in the 70s they could air that on TV.
Yeah.
You couldn't buy it anyways. on the home video in the 70s because
Right.
VHSs were new back then.
Yeah, and also I distinctly remember that Disney would only release something and it would be for a short period of time, like 4 months, and you wouldn't see anything on VHS again for like 10 or 12 years. So you had to get it then, or you weren't getting it for a long time after that. It's not like it is now where you got Disney Plus and you just go in there and watch whatever you want. It was hard to get. And then of course they released it on VHS and they had to release it on Laserdisc. Then they'd release it on DVD or Blu-ray. So you had to, every time you upgraded your thing, you had to buy it again. So they were making money triple time.
Of course.
Yeah. And look at this one with Archimedes laughing out loud like a nutty.
This little nightstand there, he flies around with it.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. It's like his perch.
Yep, his perch.
So, like Dragon Master and Night Style, I asked the rest of the people here, when did they see this movie first? Did you see it as kids or?
I saw it when I was a child, yeah.
Yeah, I saw it as a kid, but that was
Me
a
too.
long time ago.
Like on TV or like a DVD or something?
On VHS.
Okay.
Same here.
Yeah, VHS is what introduced us to the movie.
Yeah, because I saw it on TV back when like Escape to Witch Mountain was like airing on TV and stuff. And the other one, what's the one with the cat that he's an alien, but he has a collar that can talk and what was it called?
That darn cat?
Yeah, I think it was that darn cat. Basically with the collar on is how it could communicate. Other than that, it was basically a cat from space.
Hey, dude, speaking of space cats, I'm only thinking about it because I've been rewatching it, but like, I did not realize this. Thundercats is a Rankin and Bats show, like the same people as like the Claymation Christmas classics.
Really?
Yeah, that was like kind of blew my mind. They're like right at the end of every title sequence, Rankin and Bass.
And now we come to Madame Mim, Merlin's nemesis.
I cannot think of her name.
Madam Mim.
Mim, okay. She has a whole song and everything.
Oh,
Yeah.
It was the cat from outer space, and it had Sandy Duncan in it. Man, I had a crush on that when I was a kid.
Yeah, that too. Yeah,
Oh, snap! She's still alive.
really.
The miserable, mistress, Madam Mim, something. There's like a, a bunch of
It is Madam Mim. Yep. And
consternation.
so he turns into a bird, and they teach him how to fly, and he gets chased by a hawk, like almost
Yeah.
immediately as soon as they start flying. So he flies over her house and goes down the chimney, and then she catches him because she's like, "Oh, look, it's an interloping sparrow or whatever." And he's like, "I'm not a sparrow, I'm a little boy." And she's like, "Oh, really?" So she starts talking to him.
And
then-
trolls him.
Yep. And then he lets it slip that Merlin changed him into that, and she's like, "Oh, well, if you're such an important little boy, I have to destroy you because I'm bad." But this scene here is where she's like, "I can be uglier than even now," and turns into like this weird pig face thing.
Yeah.
And then she's like, "I can be beautiful too," and she turns into a different, this girl here,
Yep.
which I guess for the time, she doesn't look that bad.
Yeah. But then she starts losing control and starts going nuts, pulling her own hair.
Yeah.
And that's when Merlin walks in and is like, "Wait, you can't hurt the kid." And she's like, "Well, I challenge you to a wizard duel." And she like slaps him in the face a couple times. Like, okay. Then they march outside to do the duel. And she's like, "A couple of rules: no mineral, no vegetable, only animal, and no magical stuff like a purple dragon, and no disappearing." And then he's like, "Rule 4, no cheating." And the first thing she does as soon as they turn around to do their 10 paces is disappear.
Yeah, breaking her own rules.
Straight up cheats the whole time.
Yeah.
But she
Yep.
still lost.
This is my favorite part of the whole movie, the duel that they have.
Yep.
It's kind of cool. Like imagine if you could turn into different stuff and you had to think about it, kind of like Green Lantern fighting somebody, where he's got to use his imagination to come up, to create constructs and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember how it went. So it starts out,
Yeah, dude, and Merlin turns into a crab.
yeah, because she turned into a snake, because he
Yeah.
turned into a mouse,
Yeah.
and then it was a whole thing. Like, I'm trying to remember how the sequence went. She turned into, what did she turn in? She turned into something, and she chased him into a log, and he turned into
A rhino.
Then she became a chicken and tried to bite him. So it stretched him, and he shot up in the air, and he turned into a walrus and landed on her. And so then she turned into something. Oh, she turned into a cat. There's the snake, and then she turned into a rattlesnake to bite the mouse, and then the mouse bites her. He turned into a mouse because okay, so he turned into the walrus and smashed her. She got mad and turned into an elephant and grabbed him, and then he turned.
And then he turned into a mouse because he scared the elephant.
Yeah, because it scares the elephant. And then she turned into the snake to bite him, and that's when what'd she do then? She went into the ground as the snake, and he popped out, and then he turned into a crab so he could like snap her neck with his pincher. And then she turned into a rhino because he was doing that, and then he was holding on to her horn, and she charged and went through a tree.
Turned into a M1 Abrams tank.
Yeah, so then he turned into a goat, and she's like, "Don't do it!" And he hit her in the butt and knocked her in the water. And then she turned into a dragon, and then he's like, "Wait, that's cheating." And then
Big purple dragon specifically.
Purple dragon, yeah.
Explicitly forbade by the rules.
And then so
the Merlin. Yeah, go ahead.
So then she grabs him, and then she's like, "You disappeared." He's like, "No, I didn't. I'm just very." And he became a germ and made her sick, and that's how he won.
Oh,
Yep.
Clever.
Yeah, putting dots on her big fat belly.
The first thing that'll happen is you'll break out in spots, and it was like then you'll get hot and cold flashes. And, well, she turned green because she was sick first, and then she gets the spots. Then she turns red and then blue for being cold, and then you'll sneeze and she loses fire.
Merlin knew germ theory hundreds of years in advance, guys.
He also knew about what's it called? Bermuda.
Bermuda.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
He knows about airplanes and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what Bermuda was doing at the time, but surely there was people there.
Oh, well, yeah, but he went to modern Bermuda because he comes back with like high tops and Bermuda shorts on and a Hawaiian shirt.
Kind of like the genie going to Disney World or Disneyland.
Yeah, yep, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, here he is. Because he gets mad at a point, and he's like, I can't remember what he says.
He says, blow me to Bermuda.
Yeah, and he just his like hat goes straight, and he turns into a rocket and shoots off.
Yeah.
With like
blow me to Bermuda.
Yeah, there it is. Just like that.
Yeah, it was like he didn't even mean for it to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
He's like, oh shit, we're going.
And then he comes back and he's like, yeah, see this one picture where sparks are coming off him? He like skates back in. And then he's got the Bermuda, he's got high tops on.
Yeah, but then we come to the tournament. Yeah, then we come to the tournament where they are watching every other night fight each other before helping Kay get prepared for his match.
Right. And then Wirt forgot his sword back at the inn. So he has to run back to try to get it. And the inn's closed because everyone's at the tournament.
Yep. And this is what brings him right to this.
So he sees the sword it's in a courtyard of the church. Now the reason no one else messes with it is because they've tried for a long time to pull it out and it can't be done. So there's nobody there like hanging around or anything. And of course, you got the God Ray coming down and he pulls it out.
Yeah.
And runs back with it, and he's like, "Hey, I got a sword." And they're like, "Wait a second, this isn't his sword." And then the Eckhart looks at it and he's like, wait a second, this has writing on it. It says whoever shall pull it out. So that's when everyone starts recognizing the sword, and they're like, well, who pulled it out? And he's like, I did. And he's like, stop lying. And then so one guy, he's like the smartest dude in the whole country apparently, is like, hey, we need to take it back and put it back in the stone, and then, see if you can do it again.
You would think that like the seal would be broken. I mean, I don't know how magic swords and stones work, but it seems that would be logical.
So that's what his son says. He's like, well, let me try to pull it out first, because if he already pulled it out, maybe anybody can do it now.
Been pulled.
Yeah, once it's been pulled. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they put it back in, and then all these guys try to pull it, and they can't. And then again, the smartest guy in the country is like, well, let the kid try, And
Yep.
of course he does it. So they crown him king.
Yep.
Where is he? He should be in there somewhere.
I think
There that's him in that middle picture. He's got like dark hair with that guy right there. He was above Mim. Yeah, that guy. That's the I think is the smartest guy in England, because he's the one that's like, hey, let the kid try. He's the one that figures out that maybe not anybody can pull it.
Yeah. Hey, King.
He should have won that tournament.
Hi.
Yeah.
Agreed. He should have won.
Yeah.
Exactly. Black Bart. That's the name of this guy.
And they named him.
Isn't Black Bart a pirate too? Like a name of a pirate?
He's
Oh
he's the
Like-
villain in A Christmas Story that the kid is gonna shoot with his BB gun.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, but
yeah.
like besides Blackbeard the pirate, right? I'm pretty sure there was a pirate named Black Bart.
Probably.
Here's Sir Pellinor.
Right. Yeah, that's Sir Pellinor. He's the one that comes to the castle to let them know that the tournament's on. Also, he's also a pretty level-headed guy.
Yep. And he supported Arthur on pulling the sword out of the stone.
Yeah, if I was Arthur, those guys, no matter what, they will be my advisors, period, no matter what situation. Because remember, he's a little kid, right? Like he's too young to be ruling a kingdom, so
Yep.
Yeah.
that's why in certain countries, right? Like they have like the advisor or like the relative who happens to be an advisor or like essentially the second in command if something goes wrong.
Yeah, I'm
Like
trying
the
to. There's
high
a name
priest
for
or
that
something.
role. I just can't think of what it is.
Usually, when you have somebody who isn't of age, they have a regent put in their place.
That's it. A regent.
A
Like you have
regent.
them like rule in their stead.
Which is
Yeah, they're like an interim king or an interim emperor. Like you have because dude, you're not gonna have a baby or like a 10-year-old rule a country. That's dangerous.
a lot of times what happened is they kind of never gave up power, or something bad would happen to the person that they were supposed to be taking care of, and they just
Yeah,
kept
that too.
being in charge or whatever.
Yeah, you hear those
just thinking,
horrible stories.
Like
Yeah,
the last empress of China,
I know.
kind of what she
Yeah.
was doing.
I know the scene
Yeah.
is pretty iconic.
also Cleopatra kind of did that. She
Right.
I think I don't know if she killed her cousin, but I it's either killed or threatened him
Yeah,
and
she
complied.
offered him. Well, somebody killed him because he was gonna take over once
Because
he
she
became of age.
wasn't she was basically like you said that role that
Yeah.
basically
Right.
that temporary that interim role. She was not supposed to be ruling. Matter of fact, she pretended to be a man. She wore a
Oh.
fake beard.
Wow.
There were a lot of women pharaohs that did that.
Yeah, that was like she did that so because back then, women couldn't just rule like in certain kingdoms like now. Like you can't do that because in that culture, men were the dominant authority figures.
Yeah. Sometimes it wouldn't be just one person; it'd be like a council of people that ruled or advised him, basically. But basically, they ruled.
Well, I was thinking like just return to England when Henry VIII died and his son Edward, who was like a child at the time, it brought his original wife, Catherine of Aragon, back into the picture, and she was the regent. Like, she had been out of power for like multiple decades at that point.
Right.
And only because she was Edward's mother was she brought back onto the scene, and like she basically ruled England until Edward could come of age, but that never happened. And then it passes to Catherine, whoever, I don't know, but I was just thinking
exactly
that
kind of
situation.
stuff happens all the time. But I mean, so the idea that he's king is because he's ordained by God. And so then he's like sitting in the throne room. He's got this big, crown thing on and an ermine coat and the sword. But he's like, you know what? I don't know anything about doing this. I want to get out of here. So every door he tries to go out, there's like cheers because, he's the king.
Yeah.
And they've been without one for a while.
This is the lesson that, like, the right person, they have the power foisted upon them. They don't really seek it out.
Right. Yep. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, Merlin came back. He was proud of Arthur for actually becoming a king, for becoming something more worthy than being being a servant.
Mm-hmm.
They dodged a bullet with Kay, guys. That was not going to work out.
Yeah.
Right. But it goes back to the hero's journey and a classical, like, storytelling of fairy tales and whatnot. Again, like Cinderella, she was just a scullery maid, and her stepsister treated her bad, but she was really the heir to the whole thing. And she had to go through all of that, and she had magical people helping her, the fairy godmothers and whatever. So just like Merlin, and so yeah, the stories are kind of parallel. It's kind of fun.
Also, the story of Count Monte Cristo, even though he didn't become a king or an emperor per se, right? He was a count, which is a good, it's a royal title. But he inherited it from that guy, and when he was in the dungeon. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
He ended up becoming Count. I think he changed his name legally to obtain that because he wasn't the actual Monte Cristo, but he got. He got his power, and it was his right, and he got his revenge in the end. So good for him. Happily ever after, right?
Yeah. Right.
I guess I was thinking like he just made all that shit up, man, and no one ever questioned him because he had all the money.
Yeah, but why would? But here's the thing: why? I get it. That old guy could have lied, right? To be fair, he could have just said that just as a way to say "f you" to the guy as he's dying because he's too old, right? But I think he was telling the truth. So I think he did become the count, and then he used his power and influence to just get his revenge on the people who screwed him over and took his wife and his family away from him.
Right.
True.
That's a happy ending in my book. Cinderella should have been like
that.
that, like Count Monte Cristo. No, you're
Albert kind of convinces him, not to go through with it. He is forced to kill him anyway. I haven't read that in so long, dude. Where he has to kill Mondego at the end. It's like he's going to let him go, and then he has to kill him anyway, as I recall.
Yep. That as well.
Yeah, but there's lots of stories if you go back even to ancient times about things that go this way. All the way up into modern era where the thread of a story like this kind of goes. Although, these days it's a little more, it's not as subtle, I don't think. And it doesn't have quite the lesson attached to it.
It's not usually, man. They really kind of hit you over the head with shit. I don't think there's as much trust for the audience in general.
No,
like, they don't trust the audience to kind of put it together.
It's not. It's not because, remember, like, I saw a video clip from a UK podcast, and they were talking about how they were, like, dumbing down television shows. And when they mean that, they mean movies, too.
Sure.
Streaming shows. because like people aren't paying attention to the shows that much. They're more focused on their tablets and their cell phones and their computers.
Oh, right. They're making them a little more.
Yeah, like you have to say,
documented.
"Hey, I'm gonna go to this place to take this guy out," even though in the olden days, I'm gonna make sure I take care of him, right? You would know what that meant in like The Sopranos or like any gangster flick. They're taking him out. But now it's like you have to spoon feed the audience and say, "No, I'm going to get rid of
Yeah.
them from this world." Get it?
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
They
don't
have
watch
to-
that much.
Because they have to simplify it for people because people aren't going to pay attention. So the storytelling is terrible now because of that.
Yeah, it makes it like weirdly expositional in a way that people would never talk.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, unless they never were around people in their life or around weird people, you're not going to
Right.
that.
Well,
Right.
there's that too.
So yeah, this is a great movie. One of my favorites of Disney, and really like it's a lot of fun. I like the Robin Hood one where everybody's are foxes and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, we got to do that one.
Yeah.
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 Also, in Shrek the Third, they referenced this movie technically.
Hmm.
Ooh, it's been a while since I've seen that.
Remember Arthur and then
Is that the one
Merlin?
with Rumpelstiltskin in it, where he's trying to?
No,
get-
that's the fourth one. That's the
Okay.
fourth one.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was the worst one, but Shrek the Third was terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of third movies don't come out that great.
Yeah, but I just don't get it. Like why did they make Prince Charming like the main villain? He already was the villain in the second film. He didn't need to come back.
There's no better villain than Lord Farquaad.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of peaked.
Yeah. It's kind of funny.
Like I had this idea, like why didn't Fiona had a younger brother that was evil? He was the one that put the curse on her because he was jealous of her because she was the firstborn. And like in other cases, right, it's usually the male heir, but because the Frog King and his wife, the Frog King's lucky to be human, right? He's like, screw tradition because technically I wouldn't be able to be a king, right, as a human if I was, just the Frog King, right? So
That would have
he
been
has
a good fairy tale trope too, like the evil sibling.
yeah, he was the younger brother, right? And he's like jealous that Fiona, because they were told at a young age, no, the first child, it doesn't matter if it's a boy or girl, whoever is born first is the heir. And you could say twins. You can even make it twins. You could say she was born first. And he's just jealous that he couldn't be the heir apparent. So he's like, no, I'm going to put a curse. I'm going to make a deal with the fairy godmother, and I'm going to give her a curse. And, in exchange, right, he basically does the bidding for fairy godmother whenever she wants him to and helps Prince Charming out. And that could explain why in the second movie things happened the way they did. And also the Frog King is kind of in on it indirectly. He doesn't know that much, but he knows that his son is like jealous of Fiona.
Yeah.
You do that, and basically that's why in the first movie she's locked in the castle.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yeah, and here are the inscriptions on the sword.
Okay.
Oh yeah, look at the calligraphy on that.
Yeah.
How good that looks.
Yeah, you don't
Yeah.
really see that in animation anymore. They have to make it look like basic English writing.
Yeah, that too. Yeah,
So
such a
pulleth out this sword of this stone, and anvil is rightwise king born of England.
uh-huh.
Does that include the whole thing, like Scotland, Wales, and some parts of
No,
Ireland?
at the time England was only Scotland was its own kingdom,
Okay.
and so was Ireland was like its own thing.
Well, depending on who you ask now, it's either it's a part of the UK or it's not. Like that's why there's North Ireland and and
Yeah,
and
no,
Ireland Republic. Like there's two
Republic of
Irelands.
Ireland, right? Yeah, there are. They are. They are.
Because there's
distinctly
it's a dispute. That's essentially like their version of North and South Korea. No, I'm the real Korea. No, I'm the real Korea.
Yeah.
I think the writing on the sword would probably be in Farsi now.
separate.
Yes.
Yeah, look and check out this poster of the film featuring different scenes of the
Hmm.
the movie.
I miss these artworks. They don't do that anymore for
Same.
Yeah.
like it's not even just live action but for animated movies. You have these special posters made. They're not even from the movie cells. They made it for just the advertisement.
Yep.
Right.
And
Yep.
nowadays they just take the movie cells or the promotional cells that they have and they like because everything's digital now. They just print it and that's it. You don't get an artist from that does these posters, and it's a lost art form basically. So
Yeah.
sad.
It'd
There
be so
was a
clutch
guy.
to have some of those.
There was a guy that I can't remember his name. He recently died. He did like all the Star Wars posters back in the like in the 70s and stuff. He did all kinds of movie posters in the
He
70s.
did Conan. He did the Arnold Schwarzenegger
Yeah.
Conan movies.
Right. Yep. He did the posters for them. Those were cool. I remember seeing that movie. I did not see it in the theater. I saw it on VHS. I was a little-
Drew Struzan.
Yeah, that was him.
Yeah, what a talented guy.
Yeah, I was a little too young to see the first Conan in the theater.
Like even the old the Chinese / Hong Kong movies, right? When you watch kung fu movies, those were painted too.
Oh yeah, those are that's a collector's item.
Hmm.
All like there's people that collect old movie posters like that.
Like nowadays, they just screen grab some of the image and just Photoshop it slightly to look cleaner on a poster, and there you go. It's just laziness.
Yeah. Very lazy.
Because I get it, they don't want to hire another person that doesn't work for the company. Because sometimes they outsource this stuff, so they have
Yeah.
to contact essentially an independent contractor. And they have to hire them for that specific task, and
Mm-hmm.
and I understand that. I understand why now it's like no, we do everything in house.
Hmm.
Because honestly, I think the Force Awakens poster could have been better if it was drawn as if it was painted.
Yeah.
Same here. Yeah. Lots of different covers for the animated Disney movie over the years. Wow.
Yeah, because don't get me wrong, I like Toy Story, but how cool it would have been if it was painted. If they would have painted the cover for the
Yeah.
movie instead of just basically taking the assets from the cells and just calling it a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd ever actually seen the cover art for the VHS because I only remember having like the VHS outside of a sleeve. That's the first time I've ever seen it.
Ah, Hydroconus.
Hey, Draconis.
Hey, Draconis.
Hi, Draconis.
Hey, Draconis.
Yeah. 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 It's quite amazing, too, and productive for Merlin to go into the future and present stuff he sees into the future to people that are with him in the timeline of the past.
Well, he's doing that just to prove that he's not, because I bet you back then a lot of people claimed that they were wizards or magicians. And in reality, they just do party tricks, right? They do the magician stuff basically. What magicians or like illusionists do now, like Chris Angel or David Copperfield, it's just to play around. It's just to trick your view. They're not
Just
really
having that accurate
doing
globe would have been huge.
Yep. Definitely more accurate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he even has the map. So much so. Oh, and a model airplane. Yeah.
Also, Justin Timberlake did a terrible job as Arthur. He was not good.
Right.
He was not good in Shrek 3 or Shrek the Third.
Nope, he was not.
And you know what's so weird about that film though? Like I know this has nothing to do with this movie, but it kind of does because Arthur's in both movies. It's so out of character for Shrek to not want Fiona to be happy. You know,
Yeah.
it's like Fiona wants to be with her parents / her mom because the Frog King died. So Shrek's like, I don't want to be a king. Yeah, so what? You don't want to be a king, but Fiona wants to be queen because that's what she wants to be.
Yep.
And he kind of is like, it's just so out of character for Shrek to like. I get it. If this was the movie 1 Shrek, I'd be like, okay, it makes sense. He doesn't care about anything but himself. But now he's with Fiona in all 3 movies, and it's like, dude, it's called character development. You change a little bit and understand, like, it's not about your needs all the time.
Yeah.
That's why things are sacrificed. Like you make decisions. Not just for yourself, but for your significant other, for your children, because that's the best thing to do.
Yep. It truly was one of the best indeed. Okay. Now, before we close up, how many out of 10 would you each rank this movie?
Mhm.
I'm gonna be honest. I think maybe an 8 out of 10. That's just me. I could be 100% wrong on that, but I think it's an 8.
Yeah.
I'd go with a 7.
I put it at 7.5.
7 is good.
What about you, Jake? What would you rate this movie, Jake?
I'd probably give it a 7. Sorry, I was awake, but 7 seems reasonable. 7.5 maybe. But I mean, I've seen it a million times, so maybe it deserves that extra half a point.
Okay.
7.5.
I give it a 9. Yep.
Yeah, I give it a 9 too. I really like it. It's one of my favorite Disney movies.
Mhm.
Probably the only movie that I like better than this is Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah, me too.
Also, this is one of the very few boy movies for Disney, besides obviously, the Mickey Mouse 3 or the Three Musketeers.
Right.
Dublin.
Yes. This is
This is one of the very few boy movies that Disney did that wasn't the Mickey Mouse cartoons.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
only 4 women in the whole thing. You got Mim, you got the girl squirrel, the older girl squirrel, and the washer lady.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Also, the Black Cauldron is another movie. Since we talked about it in another stream before, that's another boys movie. And then maybe the Pixar movies, but I don't really think you can count them because they're their own thing.
The
Yeah.
thing with
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say the thing with the Disney movies is even though you had like Cinderella and all these other ones, which were girl movies, but I didn't even as a kid, watching them and they were good. They weren't like ooh, boys are icky and dumb, and you know what I mean, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
That the prince always had a role in it, and I don't know, they were just good movies. Even Aladdin or Beauty and the Beast,
Yeah.
Mulan, all those were good. It wasn't until you got like the 2010s that they started really getting bad. Where like if you were a boy,
Oh yeah.
there was nothing for you.
Yeah, because Aladdin, I would say it's both. It's a boys and a girls film.
Yep.
Like it was basically for everybody.
Yes.
Mhm.
And I like Mulan.
And I would say that was for everybody too, because Mulan was a tomboy in that movie.
Yeah.
Well,
She wasn't a girly girl. She was like, no, I'm going to
Right.
pretend to be a dude to go in the military because I don't have any other siblings, and my
I
dad's
love
too
Mulan.
sick.
hmm
right. And the reason that I like Mulan, and why she did what she did is she did it for her family's honor. It wasn't because no, people are telling me I can't do it and I'm better than them. And
Right. That's
all
Yes.
this.
total horseshit.
Yeah, it was because she had to do it. for
Yeah,
her
just
family's
step up for
honor.
her
It was
father.
responsibility, right? She was
Yeah.
doing it to for her family, for her father, for her family's honor, um, and and she knew that she wouldn't have done it otherwise. You know what I mean? It wasn't just like, well, I'm going to do it just so I can prove these icky boys wrong, or
Yeah.
somebody
That's
told me I
true.
can't do it because
Yeah.
what they
She did
did,
not have the chip on her shoulder, like I have to prove something to the world. It was like
Right.
I'm doing what I must.
exactly, and that's kind of like why I like Frozen too, is because their parents dying forces them into this position. It's not like she's running around, wanting to like overthrow other kingdoms and stuff, and it's more traditional story.
Yeah. Very traditional too.
Mm-hmm.
I think like this movie, thinking about it in context with other Disney movies, this is like it feels less theatrical, like more.
Mm-hmm.
It's its own little self-contained story. The stakes aren't like the entire world's in danger or something. There's not like a great evil to be forced from the land. And it's just kind of like, okay, this is young King Arthur learning lessons that help him to rule the kingdom, known as, to become England's greatest king. And like, it's a good story that I enjoy. It just doesn't have like the same, like theater energy that the other Disney movies, like Cinderella would, or Beauty and Beast, or it doesn't seem like something I would like go sit down in a theater and watch. But
Yeah.
I am looking back on it in hindsight.
Yeah, I hear
Also,
you.
wasn't this originally just called King Arthur, and then Disney was like, "No, we don't want to do that because then that's too on the nose. We're spoon feeding the audience by calling it the movie."
Well, Sword of the Stone. I mean, the sword doesn't even show up until the last 10 minutes of the movie.
True.
Yeah.
It's briefly mentioned at the beginning, and then they bring it back
We
at
just-
like the 70-minute mark.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, because I think like
Mhm.
they didn't want to call it King Arthur because that'd be too deliberate, right? It'd be like you're kind of spoiling the surprise at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, that too.
That-
So just calling it the Sword in the Stone or Sword in the Stone, it just basically made it anonymous to a degree. Like, oh, it could be anybody that takes the sword out of the stone.
Yeah.
Right, and it's a little more how do I want to put it? A little more mystical to
Yeah.
call it that, as the sword in the stone, and right, it's more generic.
Yeah, because if you just called it Arthur or King Arthur,
Mhm.
or the sword of Arthur, the sword of King Arthur, it'd be too, like you said, it'd be generic.
Right.
Yeah.
I think the title really works.
Weekend at Merlin's.
Yeah,
Well,
that-
for that to work, Merlin would have to be dead, and they would have to pretend he was alive, like
yeah.
a marionette.
Yep. Thanks again for coming, everybody.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
lot
happy
of
to
fun.
be here, man. It was fun.
Yep. I look forward to having each and every one of you on again in the future.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Excellent.
Thank you
Yeah.
for being here, Tina.
You're welcome, Emily. And take care, Stupenzo.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. It's a fun movie. It's fun hanging out with you guys.
Same
That's
here.
always the fun part. Just hanging out, get to talk to you guys.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Well,
True that.
time to close shop. Have a good night,
See you guys.
everybody. And
All right,
peace out.
guys.